G'day team, how are we doing? So, today, as per usual, I usually say a little bit different, but today is a little bit different. I'm actually going to make up some of my own paint today via a technique I've never done before. So we'll try it together. I was told that I should play around with, as per usual, powdered pigments, like you know about. These ones here, this is ultramarine blue. Look at that. Oh, baby. I was told to play around with these, but instead of using them with egg tempera, like I normally do, I've got myself a glass panel here, and a barbecue spatula, and we're gonna mix them in with some tung oil. Now, tung oil's a little bit different from regular, say, linseed oil. They're fairly similar. Tung oil dries a little bit slower. I'm told that the color kicks a little bit more, but we're gonna see. Now, this is a really interesting canvas. This is not your usual. Listen to this. You ready? Cool, right? It's actually a modified silk screen. So, it's echoey. I'll show you from the front. From the back, sorry. So it's very tight, and it's actually an aluminium frame around the outside. So we're doing a couple of experiments today. First off, we're seeing how paint dries on this funky little device that I've got, and I hope it dries well, because I like this. I think that's fun. I think that's quite quirky. We talk about a good canvas sounding like a drum. That sounds like a drum. That sounds like a very good drum. Okay. So we're all in position here. We've got everything we need. Every little bit that we need. Now we do. Now the tung oil I've got is actually a blend, and if it doesn't work for us, we'll quickly swap it out for poppy, linseed, whatever. But we're going to persevere with it to start with, because I am told that the colour in it is unparalleled. So, we would like to get ourselves some unparalleled colour, if we can. Now, let's just track down. Sorry, let me just swipe to the comments team so I can actually read here. Here we go. Miss Honey. Well, that's an interesting question, Miss Honey. What are we painting today? The answer is I don't actually know. And the reason I don't know is, for this session I've planned with you today, it's entirely experimental techniques. So we don't actually have a topic. We don't actually have a picture. So what I'm doing right now is I'm scrolling down through my camera roll, looking for something that suddenly inspires me. We might find something, we might not. Here we go. Here we go. Oh, this is a nice one. Primo. I've got just the thing, guys. And I've still got a lot of fight left in me. This is our fight song. Now, do I want to bring this closer? I think we want to bring this closer. To right about there, I reckon. I think that's the perfect position. Perfect position. This is my fight song. Do 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 do. So first colour off the ranks, I reckon, is going to be this ultramarine blue. Love this. And Patio Ward has perfect hair. Well, I believe in you. If you do, that's fantastic. All right, and we come here with just a little bit of this. Oh, you're from New Zealand. I thought you must have been from the Northern Hemisphere because of the time. No, but interestingly enough, the time has shifted in New Zealand by an hour. So, whereas previously we've been starting an hour earlier, so it's been a little bit more twilightish. Morning. What do you call it? Airy kind of morning-ish. Now we're an hour later, so it's actually the sun's out a little bit more. You can't actually tell all that much because the clouds cover it up, but once that pops out from outside the clouds, that'll all change and we'll see it get quite intense. Is this blue pigment the French one? Great question. So there's two kinds of pigments for ultramarine blue. I'm sure there's more than two, but the two I'm aware of is the one that's mined from a mine in Afghanistan, which I'm told is an unsustainable process and not too good for the population. And there's another one, which is the French ultramarine blue, which is made synthetically. Now, usually would always prioritise clay and mineral earth pigments that are the real deal. But if getting the real deal causes harm to other human beings or it's unsustainable, we'll opt for the exact equivalent, like the fake diamonds are making in the lab. We'll opt for the equivalent that doesn't cause damage to people around the world. I think that's a good policy. So we always pursue, say for example, this one, red oxide. You can always get that from clay. No one's going to get hurt from a bit of clay, but you can get the best quality clay rather than the synthetic version of it if they're the same, just because it's more fun. Why are you painting so early? We're actually painting an hour later today. So, naughty, naughty. And this is it's 5 AM in Australia. Daylight saving starts on the 1st of October here. Fair enough. Now, we've got a little bit of that tung oil in here. And when you mix it, the key to getting a good mix is to start small. So my usual take is to think, no. Get a whole bunch of it and really load it in there. Don't do that. Just start gradually. Get that lovely mix in there. And see when you start smearing it, look at that colour. You got to make sure, you can use a muller, but the thing I find annoying with the muller is they're sort of harder to clean in between paint colours. I'm a bit more kiwi with this approach. A barbecue scraper does perfectly fine. We might even get away with a bit more in there, but I'd say that's all right. Maybe a drop more. Hey, Victor. Welcome on in from Atlanta, Victor. Ooh, that wasn't a drop. That was much, much more. Naughty Sebastian. Oh well. That'll really thin it out. Black Bunny, me and you have the exact same taste and favourite colour. This is my favourite colour, team. This is ultramarine blue. And it's kind of unparalleled. You want to ask me to speak Spanish? Well, for a small period in one of the reels, I spoke a bit of Portuguese. But everyone thought I was speaking Spanish and gave me a very hard time for it. Yeah, un desastre. See, I can say, Los pingüinos duermen acerca de gatos, which means the penguins sleep amongst the cats. And you can thank Duolingo for giving me such good, useful words. gobble up some of this and see how we go. How to hit the surface. So, first up, this colour here is going to help us map out the reflective elements in the water. Hello from the UK, and excuse my sniffles, guys. It's a bit colder in this environment today, but what I'm going to do actually, I wonder if I can actually get this palette even closer to you all. Maybe right about there. There we go. Perfect. That's where I want you. That's exactly where I want you. Chris, how we doing? And welcome in from London. You know, in all my travels, I've never actually been to London. I've been everywhere else. Everywhere else. It just never happened for me. Hold it steady. Hold it steady, my little frame. Found it. What did you find? And good morning and hello to New Plymouth. Did you post the end result as I have to go to the swimming pool? Go swimming now. First. Is that Kalina? Go swimming, do your thing. And yes, we'll post the whole end results. The whole replay will be available, Kalina. Go for a swim. Don't let me hold you up, not for one moment. Get out there and go swimming. And then we can go enjoy where this goes next. I will sponsor you to come to Indonesia. Well, that's exciting. You know, there is no... Oh no, there is. I did a big mural work on Nusa Lembongan. But apart from that, there's actually no private collectors in Indonesia, which I find pretty wild. I forgot the heart was also in the gifts. Look at this. Kia ora, New Zealand frog. Ribbity ribbity. Now that's a passionate frog, man. Or lady. There we go. It's a lovely temperature today, actually. It was a little bit brisk this morning, but as that sun touches me, I do start to think it's pretty perfect. little bit more to go there. The New Zealand frog is in Christchurch. This is Auckland. Auckland. In the, not Auckland, sorry, this is the Bay of Plenty. Me and Shelby, my partner, were originally living in Auckland, but now we've moved down to the Bay of Plenty. There we go. And all those things I didn't say go beside my friend. Okay, let's go white through this. Grace, welcome on in. Now the difference between this and the other pigment I've got there is that this pigment actually comes in a paste form. So it's already been combined, which is kind of handy when it comes to mixing, because I can just put it right there as a raw pigment paste. As a raw pigment paste. And then just mix it straight in. So typically you get a choice between using a pigment paste and using a powder. I typically prefer powders, but since we're just playing today, it's totally okay for me to grab the pigment paste and have it just a wee bit of a play. Diced in there. By the looks of it, it's not loving the tongue oil. It's saying, no, don't want to get on board. I want to stay separate. If that's its fight, it's welcome to do that. It's opted to not play ball. It's a pity. It's a pity. I like those posts. Anyway. Do 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 do. Da da dee da 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 do. Da 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 da. La da dee da do. Whoopsie daisies. Get this nice and refreshed. Well, the good news is we can use a separate pigment paste. That's alright. This is a pigment paste. Well, it's actually gouache paint, but it's got gum arabic as the binder, and so that's much more likely to play ball with our tongue. Will I use the blue brush though? That's the question. All those things I didn't say, wrecking balls inside my brain. Agreed, Justine. Daylight savings. It was funny, I was actually up an hour early today, so I basically being up an hour earlier is what caused me to run off and start thinking I'm going to start playing around with not egg tempera, with some tung oil. So I started Googling, and chatbot GBT, which I love to use, basically came out and said to me, hey, have you considered using tung oil instead of your usual linseed oil if you're going to make oil paints? It'll make the colours pop in a similar way that you get excited about egg temperas. I said, no, I haven't. So let me give that a go. And I've had this surface waiting for a while to be played with. So here we are playing with it. Hey to Toronto, welcome on in. Toronto. Toronto. Not those things inside my head. And today, pretty exciting. I'm heading back up to Auckland because I can't buy what I need from Tauranga. I need a few more pigment pastes, namely white, which is wild, because I was hoping that white oxide paste would work, but it's clearly not going to play ball. So that's all right. But the good thing is, once I get that white pigment paste, it'll be away. And in the time it takes me to get up there and get that, and then come back on down here, it's highly likely that this would have had that sort of 24, 48 hour period to start to really set. And what's this? There's going to be a boat here and a boat here. Water, tons of reflections, and a big day. And that's the plan. We'll see where it takes us. Okay, so this is another one of my favorite colors. Can you see that from your position? Do I need to come a little bit closer with that? Or is it going to get lost in the comment section? Anyway, this is phthalo green. So it's more of a bluey green. I like it. Oh, I like it. I've got a soft spot for this color green. There we go. A little bit in here. Same story. Never too much of the oil. Never too much. Get yourself into trouble if you add too much. Okay. Yeah. It's like barbecuing, but creatively. Just flip the color, merge it in. There we go. You gotta make sure you smear it too. So your temptation is just to mix like this. That actually doesn't do anything. You need to be pushing and then smearing, because that's what disperses those particles in amongst the vehicle, in this case, tung oil, which is made from seeds from the tung tree. But it sounds kind of weird, but tung oil. And it'll be interesting to see how it dries in comparison to linseed oil. I am excited to see that. There we go. If we wanted to give this a bit more body, we could chuck some white through it. Always, for some weird reason, when you combine two colours, they just get a bit more punch. But I want straight phthalo. I don't want any white through it to make it look chalky. Even though it looks kind of inky here, it doesn't matter. And like I was saying earlier, you can use a paint molar, to smush it all out, and it really works well. It's kind of like a pestle in water, but for glass, on a flat surface, and it really disperses the pigments. But I find this a little bit more therapeutic, a little bit more personal. I like being able to see it move around. The paint molar covers it and squishes it around. Feels good, not this good. I would say though, rather than using the spatula like I am, see I have to smear it down to make it work. If you have one with a handle, oh, they're just the best. Because then you can actually have your hand up here while you do it, and it won't hurt your index finger as much. And I'm going to sound quite cowardly here, but I've actually recently sprained my index finger, and it's still giving me grief. I know, I need to grow up. I know I do. But it doesn't change the fact that it could happen. Alright, there we go. Hello, welcome on in. Alright, let me just flick this back to the comments so I can read. Sounds like a beautiful day there. In the back, birds are very chirpy and the colour is amazing. Orlissa, thank you very much, and thanks for joining on in here. Taylor, glad you like the jacket. I've already ruined it. So, very hard to buy me nice clothes, Taylor. I do just ruin them, but I've since got over that. Now I see it as I feel like I'm actually adding more value to it because I personalised it, right? The baby is fantastic. Thanks for asking, John. She's happy. She's healthy. She's got a wee bit of a cough at the moment, which is, I'm hoping it's not anything. Just hope she's all right. But she is doing a little bit of a cough at the moment, so that's a thing. But we'll navigate that. Cheers, John. It's better that way. Tell Shelby that. I am running out of clothes though that don't have paint on them, so I do need to get back to some of the op shops and actually do some switch arounds. And though it's brief, I know it's brief, this will be our last colour for today. I'll need to go back and grab, let me just check these two. Some of the pigments I'm sitting on. No, water-based again. Walter Byler. Thanks, John. I appreciate that. I know she will be. It's her first. It's just her first flu. So, as a parent, you're always a little bit tighter. A little bit tighter, but no, a little bit more. Oh, I hope she's okay. Hitty makes me want to go to the beach. Rotorua. You can go to the hot pools. Beach is a little bit harder for you, Hitty. Good morning. It is a season for sniffles. This is true, I've been sniffling away the whole time. Nettle, tea, honey, and time it will go away. Ah, I see, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Well, for me, it's the season for sniffles because I get hay fever chronically. And if you guys remember over the last 2 years that we've been live streaming, we do start getting into these periods where birds go at it in the morning around here. We do start getting into periods where I start actually really sniffling. And when those periods come on, team, I do typically have an antihistamine in the morning, but it's just not quite that stage yet. If I can help it, I don't want to be smashing antihistamine every day for a fourth of the year. I'd prefer to actually run a bit cleaner than that. I'd be thinking. Holidays are around the corner. Every day's a holiday. It just depends on perspective. Every day's a holiday. Every night's a night like this. All this is like, I guess, but I don't fully agree, but I guess. Every night's a night like this. Alrighty tighty. Where are these shadows going to come on in through here a little bit? And with the delicacy of the pigments and paint we're using, you'll notice our brush. We're not using a big brush today. We've gone super tiny. But because it's more like ink in the way it behaves, it actually carries a lot more paint. So you'll see me doing actually more strokes with less paint. On one hand, it saves paint, but on the other hand, I can stay up here and notice more little moments and shapes, even though I'm using a smaller brush. Kind of wild. Candy, welcome in. Am I saying that right, Candy? Or am I just a bit blind? Candy C. Candice. Khaleesi. This is my fight song. Prove I'm alright song. My power's turned on. This time I'll be strong. And I don't really care if nobody else believes. I've still got a lot of fight left in me. Cheers, Ryan. I don't know why that song's stuck in my... I didn't even listen to music this morning. Maybe just yachts on the water remind me of fight song. That's how it works. Don't quit my day job. Can't you see? Don't be so rough. Don't be so rough. If I want to quit my day job and go singing, as a friend, I expect your utmost support. And when I release my singles on Spotify, I want you to be a daily listener, Candy C. And when you're not, I'll blame the failure of my singing career on the fact that you just didn't listen daily. Good. Perfect. We've got backup singers already. Look, it's coming together. What was once a joke to not quit my day job is now becoming a reality. We're going to be called There's some sort of witty line we can have around the name Candy. I'm thinking like Sid Gower and the Candy Canes. That's our band name. And we're going to do like massive business around Christmas time. Like Mariah Carey, Christmas albums, move over. You don't stand a chance. Sib and the Candy Canes coming through. Releasing a Christmas banger every year. It's a cappella on poorly recorded sound gear, but that's the charm. That's the charm. You know, like, have you ever wondered what regular music would sound like if it was just a little more scratchy and a little less high quality? Have you ever wanted something more down to earth that made you feel good about yourself, made you feel that you could also be a professional singer? Sid and the Candy Canes have the songs for you. Live in concert this February. Singing all your favourites. Like, what's this song? And I can't remember the lyrics, but I can hum the tune. Classics. Thanks, Dylan. Good to have you in here, mate. Cheers, Candy. No. You're in the wrong idea. You're in the wrong idea. I don't sing. I'm one of those shower singers who escaped the shower and kept doing it in public. And but I believe, I'm a strong believer, guys, that when it comes to expression like singing, dancing, and art, you shouldn't feel like you need an excuse to do it. You should, I think we should all find more moments in our lives where we actually perform these acts. Now, I'm not saying everyone should buy a paintbrush, but if you wanted to buy a paintbrush, and if you wanted to paint, that shouldn't be an odd thing. If it becomes an odd thing, then that scene has gatekept something from you. You should never feel like anyone or anything blocks you from singing, dancing, and expressing yourself creatively, because these are very, very human traits. You can't do this. You can't do that at a whim. Look around you, and who or what are you surrounding yourselves with that stops that? Because if you were someone's friend or a loved one, you'd want them to have the ability to express themselves creatively. And I don't want us to get ourselves twisted in thinking that the only way to express yourself creatively is with a painting. This is one way. It's quite a raw way, but it's one way. You can express yourself with amazing creativity in an Excel document. And people who haven't made an Excel document before, haven't really appreciated one, would fall into the category of being like, ugh, no you can't, not with Excel. Nah, when you watch someone actually make a beautiful Excel document, where it works just with pristine design, it's like watching visual poetry. And when the numbers just crunch just right and you get the results you need, and it's in harmony. You can't tell me that that design of the Excel sheet isn't as close to art as a lot of paintings get, to be honest. And it's funny because we laugh at that example, but honestly, I'm serious. I am serious. And when we talk about art exciting you, bringing in an imagination, making you smile, making you feel invigorated, I felt that from some Excel documents. My brother's made me Excel documents in the past that I've used back when I was working a completely different industry. And I'd get wildly excited about it. I'd be like, this is perfect. This is exactly what I need. It does this. It does. Oh my God, I love it. 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 And that same emotional reaction is not far off all that different from the emotional reaction you have to a piece of art that you feel emotionally connected with. And then we can open it up to the whole Google suite. Now, I haven't seen a PowerPoint before that I thought was art. I want to make that clear. If you've ever seen a Microsoft PowerPoint, that you believe was art, show it to me. So I can't wait to see it. I wanna back those as well, big time. I wanna back them. But at the moment, Microsoft Word and Microsoft Excel are the two where I see the most art. Someone's like, I went to a lecture 3 years ago. A guy had a PowerPoint presentation, changed my life. Art. Would be. I just haven't seen it yet. And Farm TikTok's like, nope, never seen the PowerPoint. And g'day Jay, welcome on it. Farm TikTok. No, I'm serious. I'm serious. The old, I mean, maybe not. I just never really loved the features of a, never really loved the features of presentations. Slide after slide. I need to Google it. Microsoft, what is it? Microsoft PowerPoint presentation art. Probably just find an art presentation on Microsoft PowerPoint. We really want the PowerPoint itself to be art. Wrecking balls inside my brain. So we're going to get a lot of warm, sunny tones through here. Definitely. For now. Wrecking balls inside my brain. Which software is the best UI? In your artistic opinion, Griffin, help me out here. I'm an idiot. I'm just a fine art painter. What does UI mean? You're painting art, but not talking about it. I think I am. I think I'm casting a wide net, but I'm definitely talking about it. Okay. User interface. Sorry. Yeah, 100%. Which software has the best user interface in your artistic opinion? I love that question. I love the fact you didn't say which art software. You said any software. Any software. Which has the best user interface in my artistic opinion? Well, it's funny you say that because Photoshop would technically have the best user interface for art, in my opinion. You can do everything. But it's not the best user interface in my artistic opinion. It feels yuck. But I think I figured it out. I think it's Apple. I think its design's on point, and I think they do, to a degree, when it comes to software, think differently, and they do some amazing stuff. It feels so generic. Like I feel like when you say art, you want to be unique with your answer, but I feel like Apple is the most artistic in the way that they make it simple and they get great stuff, and they make it simple for you to actually enjoy. In the same way a Monet painting or a Van Gogh put something beautiful in the square of a frame, Apple kind of make it available and really easy to purchase, easy to use technology. Yeah. Apple has the best software. Their whole engine. And you'll be able to say, no, there's better software out there. There's better this, there's better that. But are you ignoring Candy C? Let me scroll up and have a look-see. Can you read my comment, lol? Candy, I'm going up fairly high there. I reckon you have Michael Bublé vibes. I reckon we're each entitled to our own unique and wonderful opinions. I've got kind of like a nerdy vibe crossed with a farmer vibe, crossed with a Kiwi vibe. I don't know if I'm Michael Bublé vibes. But I'm excited you think so. No, not that one. Well, I'm so sorry. That was like 5 pages of comments. I'm not scrolling back through the Candy. You're gonna have to say it again, because that's a big scroll you're asking for there. And because I stare at the screen, squinting away. What I do need is my glasses. That'll be the primo thing, I reckon. Is that Glynis there? Glynis gets it. Or sunglasses. Yeah. Sometimes though, if they're polarized, they make the phones even harder to see. So you feel like you've taken a step in the right direction when really you've kind of taken a step back. But honestly, hard to beat a good pair of like 1.5 magnified glasses, just to really hone in just a little bit. Cheers, Alyssa. I appreciate you. One thing that we haven't done in a while is wear Elton John glasses of different hues, because they actually change what you see. You'll start to see other colours more and certain colours less. I've kind of liked where our colour balance has been sitting lately, but if we start falling off a wagon and feeling like we do need to actually enhance certain colours more, we can do that. If I felt like there was too much magenta, I'm creeping too much into that pink zone, then you can grab pink sunglasses, and then everything will look pink, and so you'll prioritise all the other colours. I was asking if you could do a live painting for my wedding. Candy, that's a lovely, lovely idea. Could be quite fun. The best thing to do though is to jump on the link in my bio, grab the email, or just fill out the contact form, because there's a couple of wild factors. I mean, there's massive cost differences between going to Madagascar versus 5 minutes down the road, and it depends when. If it's tomorrow, it might be a little tough, but if it's in a few weeks or months, most likely. In short, not right now, but I would love to talk about it. I hope that helps. Homemade jewellery by Andrea. Andrea, I'm looking forward to seeing your homemade jewellery later. Once I'm finished here, I'm going to leap on and have a look at it. Can you tell me a bit about it? Give me some hints of what to expect when I look up homemade jewellery by Andrea. and rosé tinted glasses are definitely my favourite. I don't use a whole lot of yellows anyway. If I did, yellow sunglasses obviously to reduce that. Yellow paint never looks good anywhere, I don't believe. It does in small highlights, but whole pictures of yellow are a lot, and don't fit into a whole lot of, pardon me, home decor layouts. Blue is your old trusty. I say old trusty, but blue fits everywhere. We see the most shades of it. We love it. It fits into almost any house easily, without any planning. With green, green's great. Don't get me wrong. I love me some green. But the risk you run with green is if you get the wrong hues and the wrong matches, you can get stuck. If you've got a house that suits sage greens, and you load it full of some sap greens and forest greens and olive greens, it can be a lot. You've got to make sure you get the right matches. Sometimes it works, but it's not as simple as if it's blue, it's good to go. If you do want to creep into yellow though, Naples yellow's always a winner. So this yellow that I started with here in the background, that's Naples. And you almost don't even recognize it as yellow, but it does creep in there and give that hue. It just dances in there. It's lovely. I love blue, it's so calming. But it can also be vitalizing. It depends how you use it. But as a base, to actually formulate the picture from, and then branch out into highlights, blue's kind of the best for that. You can get caught up thinking that you need to, I don't know, I find ones with a red base, for example, quite intense. They work, but very intense. Blue base, highlights from there, just allow the art to go into more spaces. And it's not just about the initial space it goes into. If the art lasts for, say, hundreds of years, it has to be able to go into different rooms. It has to be able to go into different homes and fit. If it's one size fits one, which is okay, but if it's that, you've committed it to that space permanently. And once the space changes, or you change and want to have your space follow, that work may not be able to continue its journey with you as effectively. And so, yeah, I think that longevity factor in where an artwork can be placed can be quite important. Now, can we see boats here? Am I dreaming? Hey, we got boats. I see that boat. That boat is a bit more abstract though, because that one isn't just sideways like this one. This one's facing onto you. And so you can see its white frame there, but actually it's a bit obscured by this cloud bank coming up. So that's actually exactly what we want. Maybe we'll stop now. I think there's a little bit more through here I want to touch on, but we're well on the way to hitting where we wanted to be hitting for this session. Let me just swipe this across here, team. I need help with that word. I always do red, chrome and grey for my decor. Love that. And see, when you've got a particular theme like that, red, chrome and grey is fantastic, because for you, is it red velvet everywhere, or are you working with, say, a greyish sort of interior with red highlights and chrome highlights? Because if that's the case, you're wide open to do whatever you want. If when you buy artwork with those sort of more subtle tones with highlights, it'll always just fit. You're just away. Yeah, James, we're going a bit old school here, aren't we? This is more of a traditional painting style. We made the paint from scratch, and it is oil paints, but since I'm making them from scratch, it's literally just tung oil from tung tree seeds ground up and then added with the pigments. And now neither of these two pigments I'm using have heavy metals in them. Because of those two steps, I don't have to wear a gas mask like the other day. There is nothing harmful. The only thing that can get harmful is when this stuff here, you don't want to inhale this. And the reason you don't want to inhale these fine powders is not because it's dangerous toxins or chemicals in them, but the powder's so fine it can go into your lungs quite easily. So first way to avoid that, a well ventilated space, and the second way to avoid that is don't have them sitting around. Add the powder to be made to the glass plate, make the paint, and once it's in its paste form, it's suddenly safe. So beautiful, fun, clean oil paints, and the style does fall much more with this kind of paint on a Monet fashion. And that's what we're up to. Can you buy this? Great question. Now, I want to say yes, but the answer right now is maybe. And the reason I say that is there's a lot of experimental elements to this. This is an experimental canvas. Listen to this. I love this. Ready? It's a very, very different canvas, much more like a drum, and it's stretched around an aluminium frame. Now, it should work. Don't get me wrong, should work, but we don't know that. We need to let it dry. We need to see how it actually works on the surface and if it will last long term. You can't sell someone a picture that you go, all right, you're gonna love that, but in a year's time, it's gonna flake off. It's not really fair on the collector. I think if you buy art, it should at least retain its value or go up. That's fair. Liquidity on art's low sometimes. You know, the ability to resell art can be tough to find the market for it, but just like trading cards. But the value should be there. That's the important thing. It always works, and I get a ton of compliments. I like your style. I like your style. All right. Honestly, do your home the way you like it. I like as minimalist as possible, BGB. And that's the reason why I go as minimalist as possible is I see a lot of color every day. I stare at paintings and fill them with intense color. So to actually balance that in my life, I will have a more minimalist living style and home. But that's just me. There's a separation point there. Otherwise it would be a lot all the time. So, but to come back to that buying question, let me finish it. Let's not put the pressure of a purchase on it before it's finished. Let's finish it first. Let's see how it dries. Let's see how it lasts. And if it's pristine, then it'll be available for sale. Until then, it's a fun test and we're playing together. Do you do any non-profit or no? That's a great question. And yeah, we do a lot. We do a lot. So whether it comes to, I mean, that's a broad scope to look at. So a couple of things. If there's high schools, and if you're here as a teacher or you're part of a high school and you want me to speak, absolutely, 100% I'll do that. The other question is things like, for a lot of paintings, they're really, really fun. We did one, we had a couple of paintings last year where half the profits, no joke, went to Youthline, which is basically, it's a line that they can call, kids can call to talk when you're in a very, very sad and dangerous place. And Paul, we got $5,000 to Youthline last year. I think we got about 2,000 to I Am Hope. We wanted to get more to I Am Hope last year, this year, and definitely next year we want to get more. But we're doing a really good job on that front, Paul. And look, as an artist who's got a child and a partner, I'm pretty proud of what we've managed to actually do here in New Zealand. And one of the really cool things we've been talking about is I've been yarning with I Am Hope and TikTok, trying to get a donation button literally on this live. So we can actually talk more about mental health in creativity and art things literally on this stream, whether we're painting or directly talking about it. And rather than any donation actually coming to the stream, to me, for example, which is great, thank you so much. I appreciate the support for the craft. It's a game changer. But instead of that, it'll be a donation button that goes straight to I Am Hope. So there's challenges around that, guys, because what needs to happen is it needs to work for all countries. Otherwise, it's just a broken button for people. But there is donation buttons for other groups, a lot of American groups and things like that. I'm really hard up and focused on mental health within New Zealand. When it comes to doing donations or being a part of it, that's what I want to focus on, and that's what I want to be engaged with. And when I want to talk about things like my own insecurities, the journey I went on, and the challenges I faced, thinking I was less of an adult or a man because I was an artist as opposed to a sportsman. As a young boy at an all-boys school, that's something that I grappled with. And I always felt that art was a lesser thing for me to do, and by doing it, it would be a selfish pursuit and I'd be less of a man because of it. And I held that for over a decade. Now, it took a lot of time to actually realize that's entirely untrue, fabricated in my own mind, and the best way for me to produce happiness and make the world a better place was for me to make art. And once I figured that out, everything changed. Everything changed. And suddenly I was as motivated as I've ever been to make art, because I realized that actually this whole constructed fabrication of what a man or an adult was in my own head was just inconsistent, wrong, and it was the literal carry-on of an insecure teenager brought into adulthood, checked, and then just discarded, just wrong. And so we're here now, and I feel like there's a lot of kids today, I say kids, but high schoolers, teenagers, or university students going through these courses, and I kind of have this dream. I want to be the role model for those kids, young adults, to actually be like, hey guys, your pursuit can actually be something really valuable and important for humanity and grow you, and the best version of yourself could be this, and maybe that's been taught, but I just feel like I needed that role model when I was 18, 25, wherever. And that role model either didn't exist or I didn't find them. And so I think that's really cool about the lives here that we do here, for example. I get to talk to you guys in real time. And one of the things I've always been big on is if I can just get over myself and be as vulnerable as humanly possible as I talk to you right now, hopefully someone scrolls in here who, and I'm not talking about just painting, I'm a painter, but the same philosophies go across the board for creativity, and creativity is a wide net, and I'm involving Excel spreadsheets in that. I know I keep coming back to that, but I'm passionate about an Excel spreadsheet. And you cast that wide net, someone who actually is growing up can realize, I don't need to be an absolute gym bunny, professional rower, corporate salesman or businessman to actually be a conventional version of a respectable adult. I can be me in my own raw form, and the best version of me is a valuable and respectable member of this planet, that I can make the world a better place with just being who I am. Coach Carter style, let your own light shine and you'll unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. And the hurt comes from that we ever lived in a place, or we allowed society to get to a stage where you felt the best version of yourself was pretending to be someone else. We can do better than that. I think we can do better. And I'm not fully sure how, but I know it starts with us actually being open, being inclusive, and for my part, making art as accessible as humanly possible. And I stay up all night sometimes talking with Shelby, trying to figure out ways to make art as accessible as possible. Now, originals are hard to ship around the world. They take time, they take effort, they take skill. Shipping's a huge expense, framing's a big expense. These things cost thousands of dollars, but that doesn't make art accessible. And so we're constantly talking about how can we get art to someone in Madagascar, in Tasmania, in America and New Zealand for as cheap as humanly possible to look after them. And one of the ways we've been talking about, and I love this, is actually, first thing, selling the JPEGs of work. So you can get it framed locally. Less emissions, less everything. You can just get it. And then you can actually own the work and then produce it via your own printer, via your own methods. It doesn't affect me. It allows you to actually get artwork in your home, and that fits all the core values that we work within. And then the other one, I love this one the most, we haven't got it set up on the website just yet, but we do free commercial licenses to any charities or schools or outfits who are trying to do the betterment of mankind, humankind. Anyone who's out for the betterment of everyone, that's typically charities and schools, they can just have a license to the artwork. You like a picture, you want to put it on the wall, it's yours. Have the copyright. And that's been pretty special too, because a lot of the time you approach an artist and say, look, we're a local, we're a charity, we do this and this and this, we'd like to use this picture, and the artist starts talking about royalties or payment and things, and rightfully so, they have to put bread on the table, but I basically just want to say, if you're not for profit, and you need artwork for posters, covers, whatever, just let me know, and you can have it. That's what I want to happen there. If you're a craft brewery, if you're a beer company, if you're a retailer, I'm probably going to want some money out of you because you're for profit, so let's make some profit. But if you're a not-for-profit, if you're a charity, it's a different story. You like Africa, you like Zambezi River, you like this picture, that picture, that picture, have a high-resolution JPEG and do whatever you need to do with it. Good luck, and make the world a better place. That's what I believe. What's your painting? I always get this question, guys. What's your favourite painting that inspired you? It depends for what. I think I land on Mahalo. Not because Mahalo is the best of all those paintings in 2022, but I am constantly moved by how much of an impact Mahalo has on its collector. And I think Mahalo is possibly one of the most interesting self-portraits I've been a part of. And I say that because Mahalo, Steve, the character in Mahalo, is on a wave, and we got this wave and we made it so colourful and full of vitality, it became kind of like a wave of life. And we put the character Steve on the wave, and Steve was a surfer, or loved surfing. And so in the picture, you could say, well, it was just a picture of Steve surfing. Well, it was also this great metaphor for the way Steve approached life. I just loved it because it had this continuity between his hobby, a metaphor for how he approached life, the colour of what life should be about, and it was beautiful on a whole bunch of levels. So it popped into my head, but there's other beautiful stories too, even the one surrounding Craig and Scott's portrait, 35 years of being together. That was a beautiful one. Stephen's portrait, the one of the whole family together with their dogs, capturing a moment for them. But we're living in 2022 right now. I love Zambezi River. I love that shot. And I love that picture's in South Africa. Love it, love it, love it. Don't make me pick a favourite. Don't do that to me. Let me just jump through these comments, guys, and then actually that's enough of the phthalo green. I need to pack up, head up to Auckland, buy those pigments, got to pick up a few bits and pieces, come on back down to Tauranga, and we'll be back into it in the next few days. I know there's not times up for the next week, so I'll get times up so we can actually keep connecting like this. I'm hoping to buy a few more of these, but they're so lightweight, guys. They're so lightweight, and I like that because, yeah, shipping, but actually more importantly, if they're lightweight, the beautiful thing about that is if you're a family, if they're on the wall and they get bumped off, they're far less likely to actually hurt someone than a very heavy piece of artwork. So, as long as it lasts, lightweight can be pretty cool. I know I'm thinking like a dad now because I have a daughter, but I feel better about this being high up on the wall than I do about a really thick, dense wooden frame thing being up on the wall. Okay, let me catch up real quick. Coming on up here. I feel like this pep talk was what I needed for a Sunday morning. Well, that's fantastic, Candy. I'm glad I could be here for you. You absolute legend. And you just got home Puzzle Piece. Love the name. And love this. Oh, cheers, Puzzle Piece. And did I miss anything above there? Start a podcast. Been talking about that. And if we do start one, we'll separate out, we'll do it on TikTok, because this is just a great way to stream live, and you can bring guests on easily with the multi-chats. And when you go into the live event, it'll say podcast talk or whatever, and live painting. So if you just want to catch the live painting ones, you can do that. But if you're in for a podcast pep talk, that'll be there too. And we're going to have fun like that. I like that. Let me scroll on down here. Whenever I come across your lives, I see that you're in a different place. How do you do it? It's a bit of a science. So we need Wi-Fi, and that's always a battle. But I'm going to be getting a... I've got a plan to actually get around a few more spots, because sometimes Wi-Fi in New Zealand can be a bit patchy. And then we also have to think about the sun and its position, because the light needs to cut through, basically needs to cut a line straight through me in the canvas, so the canvas stays highlighted as I'm painting, and I don't cast a shadow on it while I'm talking with you guys. So the angle needs to be pretty much bang on there. When it gets too high, it gets really, really hard to see. So you want about 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. light. That's the premium light, which is funny because that's exactly when Van Gogh was trying to zero in on to paint the sunflowers, except I'm trying to zero in on that time so I can live stream. Oh, what a wonderful world we live in. And weather conditions, obviously, the portable easel. When everything's portable, life gets much easier. But you want to be plenty of painting, which is outdoor painting. You want to be getting out there in the wilderness and painting out somewhere that you actually are able to breathe. If you're in those studios with the fumes, don't let any paint company or online forums, don't let anyone trick you. If you're using acrylic paints, water-based, non-toxic, they're just not, guys. Here's the best test you can do. If someone says these are non-toxic paints, they won't hurt you at all, go into a room and paint for 6 hours with them, and tell me you walk out without a fuzzy head, and tell me that hasn't had an impact on your brain. And if it didn't, cool, good for you. But I'm here saying it definitely did for me. I'm never doing that again. So cut your own path, but look after your brain, guys. Coming on down here, you're welcome, BGB. It's phenomenal to have you here. Coming on down here, g'day Jesus, how we doing? Well, that's fantastic, Candy. Give me a chance to get it set up, but I actually just broke my speaker. It'd be nice to have a good speaker for it, but not speaker, mic. But oil dries faster than acrylic, or do I have it backwards? You have got it backwards, so that's okay though. Acrylic dries the fastest. Within about 2 days, it dries very, very fast. But the reaction of drying the reaction of drying is far more volatile because it happens over a far shorter period of time. Whereas with oils, although it's more pungent and smelly as it dries, it dries slower. They're both pretty nasty. This is oils, but we're making the oils from scratch. There's no additives, no wild cards to it. And although the tongue oil will evaporate over time, it's got a name. I wonder if I've got it here. Hold on, guys. The name of the evaporation that actually happens. Something or other polymerization. I'm not going to be able to find it. It's something polymerization, where basically the oil itself reacts with the oxygen in the air and it forms longer chains, which makes it form into this harder, flexible film on the surface. Different oils have different effects, different dry times, but what can get nasty is if there is additives in the paints or heavy metals, when that oxidation occurs, those VOCs get released, volatile organic compounds, and we breathe them in and we get harmed from it, so be careful. Okay, last few questions. Dan, fair enough. Oil, yeah, sorry. I think the amount of light needs to be reduced on the sea and sky. Adam, interesting comment. And you're almost right. That's the last question I'll do. But actually, we've only added in blue, phthalo green, and Naples yellow. Those white areas are still raw gesso. So what's going to happen when I come back down with some colours is we're going to add in the, if you think of this just as the sea tones, we're going to add in the sun tones, which is going to be our oranges, a little bit of red, and a bunch of really, really soft yellows, which are going to creep into these areas, a little bit into these parts as they reflect out. But this whole gulch through here is where that light comes through. The reason I like this composition is because there's two boats and the light cuts through the middle of it. Beautiful. But yes, you're right, there's too much white right now because it's untouched white. We need to build into it more. Anyway, guys, look after yourselves, and I look forward to seeing you guys when I've replenished my powdered paints. And I like this. I think I'll get a better table, but I want to have it right up here so you can really see the pigments and play with them. I like it. It's very, no joke guys, it's romantic to make your own paint. There's something about it. Anyway, look after yourselves guys. All the best from the NZ studio. Catch you next time, and thank you so much for the 10,000 likes. It's a lot of taps. You're a pack of legends. Thank you. And cheers, Jay Smith, as per always, for being in here moderating. You absolute legend. We've made 2 little boats, and I am going to hit the track. Cheers, BGB. Catch you later. Bye, guys.